Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, January 20th. A Brownsville City Commissioner recently posted on social media that residents can expect to see more federal agents across the city. Valley Central News reports a social media post by Linda Macias, Brownsville City Commissioner for District 2, said that ICE raids have been reported across the city because they are, quote, citing low enforcement numbers, end quote. According to Macias' post, activity has already been reported, such as stopping any work trucks, vans, and appearing at job sites. Corpus Christi City Council will not meet today due to the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday being yesterday. They will resume meeting next week on Tuesday, January 27th. Victoria City Council will meet at 5 p.m. today at Council Chambers at 107 West Juan Lynn Street. They usually meet on the first and third Tuesdays each month. This week, they're expected to authorize the use of $570,000 of excess capital improvement program funds to purchase land for the development of a shooting range for the police department and authorize the city manager to execute a land purchase agreement for about 17 acres in the 400 block of Adcock Ranch Road. City Manager Jesus A. Garza will provide an update on Public Safety Headquarters, which is nearing completion. Crews from Victoria Police, Fire, and 911 services have been gradually relocating to the HQ. Meetings will be live streamed online at victoriatx.gov and on YouTube at Victoria Texas Videos. The trial of former Uvalde School Police Officer Adrian Gonzales resumed testimony today at Nueces County Courthouse. Lon Gonzales has this morning's update.
Early on, DPS Lieutenant Nick Hill was back in the stand, and defense attorney Nicola Hood aggressively approached Hill in regards to a perimeter that Gonzales could have set up at the time of the school shooting, and if he had a line of sight on the shooter. Officers with the Uvalde Police Department were present to back up Gonzales, with LaHood pointing out at least one of the backup officers had moved to another area during the incident. Claudia Rodriguez, secretary of the funeral home located near the school, testified she saw the shooter as he made his way over a fence and through the school's parking lot. She added that she alerted police the shooter had entered the school. Retired SWAT team member Willie Cantu questioned extensively this morning by the prosecution, with the culmination of his testimony focusing on a door that was unlocked, which allowed the shooter to enter the school, and Gonzales' proximity afterwards. For KEDT News, I'm Lon Gonzales.
B County Commissioners recently approved a project management agreement with the Nueces River Authority aimed at updating flood mapping and identifying the county's flood mitigation needs. The Beeville Bee-Picayune reports that Nueces River Authority COO Travis Pruski told commissioners the authority oversees the Region 13 Flood Planning Group, which includes B County. Under the program, Pruski said B County would receive updated mapping down to a 6-inch level across the county, along with modeling for floodwaters entering the county from outside the river basin. The project also includes development of flood management projects to identify areas with significant flooding issues and add those projects to the state flood plan, making them eligible for future funding. Pruski also said the authority would assess low water crossings and inspect high hazard dams, which he described as artificial dams outside city limits that hold back large amounts of water. If B County participates, the county's local match would total $295,000, funded through a 10-year payment plan of about $29,000 per year at zero interest. Housing organizations in McAllen can apply for support through the city's federally funded Home Investment Partnerships program. The program expands affordable housing opportunities, which includes services like educational classes for first-time home buyers. City officials told KRGV they've already been awarded $500,000 for the next fiscal year.
The goal that we're looking at is constructing somewhere about 8 to 9 homes per year. So sometimes that deliverable is met, sometimes it's not because, funds have to be deviated to other programs. But that's just kind of like what we have as a goal with our partners.
That was City Grants Administration Department Assistant Director Priscilla Avila speaking to KRGV. Organizations can apply online by February 6th. More information at McAllen.net. Texas's party primaries for the 2026 midterm elections are coming up in March. In this important election, voters will weigh in on who will represent their party on the ballot in November. This year, Texas voters will decide who will represent them in Washington, plus seats in the Texas legislature, key state leadership roles, and a lot more. And while March may seem a ways away, as of today, Texans actually have less than a month until early voting for the primaries start. The Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey has more about what to expect in the upcoming primaries and how to start getting ready to vote.
First, voters must decide which primary they'll be voting in, Republican or Democratic. You're only allowed to vote in one. After that, you can start researching candidates. And with so many big races on the ballot in Texas this year, the primaries are pretty important. Take the U.S. Senate race. March's primaries will determine who will get a chance to vie for a 6-year term in Washington. Voters will also choose their preferred candidate for statewide offices from governor on down, including Texas Attorney General, Comptroller, Land Commissioner, and Agriculture Commissioner, plus 4 of the 9 seats on the Texas Supreme Court. To find a sample ballot, visit your county elections website, and the last day to register to vote is February 2nd.
Voters can begin casting ballots for the Texas Party primary elections in about a month. The first day of early voting for the primaries is February 17th, but across the state, some voters haven't received their voter ID cards. The Texas Newsroom reports that's due to last year's legal back and forth over the state's map of congressional districts.
A quick refresher. Last summer, Texas Republicans pushed congressional redistricting through the state legislature. Then that new map forced legal challenges. While things played out in court, the Texas Secretary of State's office put a hold on mailing out voter registration cards. The cards couldn't be finalized until voting districts were certain, something the U.S. Supreme Court didn't decide until last month. But it's important to note a registration card is not required to cast a ballot. Instead, voters can bring any of the state's approved IDs to the polls. That includes a driver's license, passport, military ID, and more. It's also a good time to make sure your voter registration is active. Texans can do that by visiting votetexas.gov. I'm Blaze Gainey in Austin.
Republican candidates for Congressional District 34 will participate in a forum debate hosted by Nueces County GOP and Coastal Bend Young Republicans. It will be from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Thursday at Richardson Performance Hall at Del Mar College East Campus at 101 Baldwin Boulevard. Candidates scheduled to participate include Keith Allen, Luis Puenteo, Eric Flores, Myra Flores, Fred Hinojosa, Gregory Scott Kunkel Jr., and Scott Mandel. In college basketball, the UTRGV Vaqueros men's team won its second straight Southland Conference contest. They held off the Southeastern Lions 68-65 last night at the UTRGV Fieldhouse. Graduate student guard Marvin McGee III again led the Vaqueros with his second double-double of the season, 19 points and a career-high 11 rebounds. Junior guard Corey Cotton scored 15 with 7 free throws as he shot 87.5% from the line. Junior forward Philip Bronkovich finished with 13 points. Sophomore guard Jalen Washington added 9 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Also in SLC men's basketball, Texas A&M Corpus Christi saw just a second loss at home this season, falling to McNeese 69-53 last night at the Hilliard Center. The Islanders struggled to sustain offense in the physical defensive game with the Cowboys. Islanders couldn't get as many opportunities despite a decent 41% shooting on Monday night.
We got to continue to knock down free throws and, play better defense without fouling. It was some fouls that, we felt like we didn't actually foul, but that's every game. We just got to continue to battle through it and, play against the refs and play against, the other team as well, and just try to defend without fouling, honestly, because both teams were fouling. They called it tight. It wasn't like we just were out there fouling and they wasn't calling anything against them. We just got to play better defense.
That was Islanders senior forward Sheldon Williams, who led the team with 13 points and 8 rebounds. The Islanders are now tied with Lamar University for 4th place in the Southland Conference standings. Islanders will next head to San Antonio on Saturday to face the University of Incarnate Word. This coming Monday, they will face UTRGV in conference play and another installment of this season's South Texas Showdown rivalry series. Meanwhile, TAMU-CC and UTRGV women's basketball teams will continue that rivalry series on Thursday as they face off in conference action at the Hilliard Center. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.